Hello everybody and welcome to this video on question 4 of the AQA GCSE English and English language exams. This question focuses on comparing presentational devices in two texts. It may ask you specifically which text to choose, or it may give you the option to choose those texts yourself. So let's have a look at the mark scheme for this question. This question is worth 12 marks on the exam, and in order to get the top band 3, 9 to 12 marks, you've got to show the examiner that you fully understand which presentational features are used in the texts and why they've been used. Okay, so you need to be commenting on the purpose and effect of those presentational features. You need to be able to offer examples of those features. And most importantly, because it is a question on comparison of presentational features, you need to be comparing both texts. So you need to be saying what's the same and what's different. Now, you might be looking at whether presentational features are used in a different way, so whether they have a different purpose or whether they have a different effect, or you might be commenting on the fact that the designers have used different presentational features. So I've got a really easy way to remember what to look for this question, and we need to remember that we're not looking at words specifically, we're actually looking at what the text looks like. So we're thinking about why the designers have used those presentational features and what the effect on the audience should be. So what do they want their audience to feel when they see those presentational features? And the easy way I use to remember those presentational features is I use fish and chips, okay? So let's have a look at what fish and chips means. So fish and chips is just an easy way to remember lots of different presentational features that designers use. So we've got fonts, illustrations, the structure or the layout on the page, any headings that are used, colours, any bold print, so highlights, you might have highlighted text, any italics used, and photographs. If it were me and I were given two sources, my top 3 choices for presentational features to pick out and analyse would be colours, photographs and possibly illustrations, but definitely colours and photographs are your number 1 and number 2 presentational features, and then another one from your fish and chips list. Okay, so let's have a look at these two sources from an old GCSE exam. So we've got an advert for Lipsil on the left hand side, and then we've got a newspaper article on the singer Avril Lavigne on the right hand side. So if you want to pause this video, I want you to have a look at these two sources, and I want you to scribble down all of the presentational features that these two sources use, and I want you to also be thinking about why the designers have used those presentational features, thinking about your target market, who your audience is, and what the effect on the reader of those presentational features would be. These downloads will be available on my website aceyourexams.wordpress.com. So head on over there for free downloads and pause the video now if you want to have a go at this yourself. Okay, so let's have a look at this first one then. So this Lipsil advert. So we've got really interesting fonts used all the way through. So we've got serif fonts. Now that just means fonts like Arial. So you haven't got any whirly swirly bits on your font. It's very clear and easy to understand. We've got bubble writing, and also if you look, you've got lots of lowercase used. Okay, and then you've got capitalisation in the @VIP. Okay, so you want to be thinking about why they've used those different types of fonts, and perhaps maybe the lack of capitals is maybe to do with the teenage audience and the fact that teenagers like to break rules. So have a think about that. Also, you've got the heading right at the top of the page, that's in bold print, and it does dominate the page. And win, the word win is pink on yellow, so if you wanted to talk about colours, you could do there, and that really makes it stand out, so that huge contrast in the colour there. You've got the illustration, which is the logo. It's hand drawn, and it looks like lips with Lipsil at the centre. So have a think about why the designers have designed that logo in that way. The colours that are used, we've got lots of pinks, reds and oranges, and they're really vibrant feminine colours. They're really smack you around the face. They're not pastel colours at all, they're very bold. So think about why the designers would want to use those really bright, vibrant colours. We've got two photographs. We've got one of the London Eye, which is at the centre of the page. And if you have a closer look at the competition that's offered, the actual prize is to go to London. So that links directly with that. We've got some pictures of the Lipsil tubes, and we've also got a photograph of young girls smiling and shopping at the same time. Okay, so have a think about why they would show those girls smiling. If there are people in the photographs in the source that you're given, always look at facial expressions. They give you a really good idea about how those people are feeling and how the designer wants you to feel. So look at the stance of the people. So what are they doing? What are they wearing? And their facial expressions, and go into really great detail about those people. Okay, you've also got highlights on this advert. So if you look at the coupon, that's in bright yellow, that's really highlighted. And then you've got the pink, which is a shocking contrast, which makes that coupon really visible. Okay, so we've got lots of different presentational features that are used on that advert. We haven't really started to think about the purpose and effect yet, but before we do that, we're going to have a look at this Avril Lavigne news article and see what presentational features are used on that one. Okay, so you can see we've got a few less, okay, so not as many to go on, but we've still got 4 presentational features that we could talk about. So we've got a headline, okay, which is the rock steady bit, and that's slanted. We've got the photograph, which dominates the page, and that is the main presentational feature that's used. And that photograph is of Avril Lavigne, so she's a young female, and like I said before, look at the facial expression. She looks very confident and she's looking straight at the camera. Look at what she's wearing, and she's dressed very plainly, and she's also got a microphone, I think, in her hand. So have a think about why the designer has taken that photograph of her, okay, and what impression that creates of this singer. Okay, we've got font again, which is serif, again, very simple and easy to understand, and we've got capital letters used all the way through, which really makes that presentational feature stand out. And the main colours used in this article are pinks, reds and oranges again, so like the Lipsil advert, they're very feminine colours. But we've also got Avril Lavigne dressed in a white vest top, which is very kind of tomboy-esque, so that's a huge contrast to the feminine colours that are used. So what we've done there is we've literally just picked out the presentational features of those 2 sources, and we've started to think about what the connotations are of those features, so in plain terms what those features suggest to the reader, and then we need to think about what the effect on the reader is next. So the way I would approach this question is I would do a double bubble, okay, because we know that we need to compare in our answer. So I would have one source on the left hand side and the other source on the right hand side, and I would write down all of the different presentational features that each of them use. And then in the middle you've got a list of the presentational features that both of the sources use. And those are the features that I would use in my answer, because you can easily compare how those features are used. So double bubble to do your planning for your answer first. Then you need to think about your text, your audience and your purpose, which we need to think about with all of the sources in the exam. But more specifically, you need to think about the audience, okay? So who is that source aimed at? And then you need to think about why have the designers chosen those specific presentational features for that audience. So the purpose and the effect are the next part of this question. So first of all, pick out all of your presentational features. Second, do a double bubble to choose which presentational features you're going to write about. Then think about your text audience and purpose, then your purpose and effect, and then we'll go on to how you structure your answer, which will be in part 2. Okay, so if you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. Love it if you would. Then you'll be able to see part 2 of this video, where we will go through the structure of the answer and we will look at these 2 sources in detail and the purpose and the effect of those presentational features. I'll also be providing a sample answer as another video to show you how to get full marks for this question. You can also follow me on Twitter at AQA Exams, and all of the free downloads are available on my website. Just head over to aceyourexams.wordpress.com.